If you have been in this field for any length of time, you know one of the most challenging parts of your day is actually multiple parts of your day. It's transitions, right? We have all been there. It's time to go from free play to circle time. It's time to go from centers to lunch. Any kind of transition can be a powder keg. And what I have noticed from my experience in the classroom, from working with lots of teachers across the world, is that there are 5 key mistakes that lots of teachers tend to make that make transitioning between activities absolutely noisy and chaotic. So in this video, I'm going to go over them and I'm going to tell you what my suggestions are to make your transitions more smooth. Hi, I am Corbella Guy. If you are new here, welcome. So glad to have you on this channel. Talk about practical ways to make your teaching experience so much more enjoyable. We talk about behavior management, we talk about classroom instructional strategies, and I have a couple of other fun topics coming up. If you are returning, welcome back. It's good to have you back. I hope you get value from this video. So, today's video, I'm going to break down the common mistakes I have seen my teachers make when it comes to helping their children transition. And what I've realized is that it comes down to a simple framework called noise. So we're going to go through each letter to identify what the error is and what the fix is. Let's start with N, no routine. Transitions require you to have a routine. And if you are changing it up every single day or every single time it's time for a transition, your children are confused. They have no clue what to do next. And so they cannot be of any help to you. And when I talk about routine, we're talking about what happens before, during, and after. It needs to be systematic. Children need to understand exactly what you want them to do before it's time to transition. They need to understand, what do I do with myself during transition? And they also need to understand, what do I do after transition? You need to have these set in stone at the beginning of the year and keep them consistent. The more you do it, the easier transitions become. So the first error is no routine when it comes to transition, and the fix is simply flip it. Decide on what is our routine going to be in this class for this year with these specific students I have in front of me. The next letter in noise, we have O for overdue notice. Children need notification when something's about to change. We need to let them know that transition is coming up. How do you do that? Right? You need to know we need to transition from activity X to activity Y, and we have 5 minutes to do it. So about 5 minutes before, I need to notify my students that a transition is coming up. They get a 5-minute notice. You know it's going to be a 10-minute process that starts with a 5-minute warning beforehand, so that they have enough notice that transition is coming to switch from one activity to the next. So giving them lots of information, lots of time, lots of warning that a change is coming is so helpful. The other thing is that when children have enough notice, they can help them to regulate their emotions around changing from one activity to the next. It might be something that they are just loving and they don't want to leave it. But if they know, my teacher said I only have X amount of time left. Don't quite know what that means, but I'm going to have to stop soon. They can start to calibrate themselves. So giving them enough notice and not making it overdue. They need to have notice in time to be able to start the transition in their mind from what they're doing to having to clean up to moving to the next activity. The next letter is I, and this is for idle time. This is something that I've seen in tons and tons of classrooms. Teachers tend to have a really solid notification system with the children. Yes, you have 3 minutes left, etc., and then we're going to transition to the next thing. They help the kids clean up, but different children finish at different times. And what ends up happening is that because there's no set routine of what I do after I'm done cleaning up, they start to wander. And wandering can create problems. I've seen classrooms where a child has cleaned up their area and now they want to go help someone else. and the child who they want to help doesn't want that help. And that creates issues. But if your students know that once they are done cleaning, they grab a book and go sit on the carpet, there's no idle time. Everyone has something to do. They know before transition, I'm playing with my stuff, having a good time. During transition, I clean up my area, and then I go and grab a book and sit down until my teacher joins us. Or if you're in a classroom where there's a couple of you, one teacher can be helping children clean up, the other can be posted somewhere else where the children who are done come to her or come to him, and they have an activity with them. Maybe it's songs, maybe it's a movement activity. They're doing something that the children do so that they don't have random idle time after they've done their bit. Because at this point, they've already done their part, right? They've done exactly what you wanted them to do. So the key here is to eliminate idle time. Have specific things for children to do once they are done cleaning up their area. The next letter in noise is S, and this stands for sound overload. Generally, this happens when you have a transition trigger that is loud, that relies on noise, your voice, a loud song, something. It can be sensory overload for you and for the children, right? It does not bring things down. It actually tends to amplify the noise that's already happening in the classroom. And the thing about young children is they can't pay attention to these multiple things, and it can overwhelm their system, and that can lead to problems. So we don't want sound overload. Whatever trigger you're going to use to grab their attention, you want to make sure it decreases the noise in the classroom, all right? And E in our noise framework stands for empty of teaching value. Transition time is still a really good time to teach various concepts to children. Remember, our children are constantly learning how to be in space with others at this age. So you can take this time to help them learn self-regulation skills, to help them learn their organizational skills, to help them learn how to be in space with other people. There's value in helping children understand, okay, now because we're a class community, when you're done with your area, you can go ask a friend if they need help. You don't just jump in. Maybe that's what you're doing to prevent idle time. So I finish cleaning up the book I was reading. I go over to my friend in dramatic play and say, hey, do you guys need help? That is a valuable teaching time, right? Or maybe you decide that your teaching time is going to be having them be more exposed to letters and reading and books. So you have decided that part of your fight against idle time is that they're going to grab a book. The point is that the activities that children are engaging in during transition time are valuable teaching moments. And when you are able to intentionally plan for that, it helps you accomplish a lot more while doing a lot less. So let's do a little recap. The main problems I have observed are that we have too much noise, right? There tends to be no routine. There tends to be overdue notice when it comes to telling children it's time to transition. There tends to be idle time. Children don't know what to do when they're done with their bit. There tends to be sound overload, meaning the trigger we're using just amplifies the noise that's already happening in the classroom. And the final one is these transition moments tend to be empty of teaching value, meaning we haven't been intentional with choosing what teaching we're trying to accomplish in these little pockets of time that happen throughout our entire day. So there you have it. Those are the mistakes that I, and I'm sure you and your colleagues have made when it comes to transition time. Do any of those sound familiar to you? Are there any that you need to work on? I know for me, the idle time was a big one. Go ahead and drop in the comments. Let me know which of those mistakes are ones that you have made or you want to work on, or go ahead and let us know some other mistakes that you have made and fixed so we can all grow in our teaching together. Thank you so much for joining me for another video, and I will see you in the next one.